if you're gonna stalk someone, at least be good at it. Hello, and welcome back to this week's episode of Yup to My Yap. I'm Erica Star, and today I'm here with
Josiah.
And we're talking New Year's. We're talking New Year, New Me's. We're talking New Year's resolutions and all that terrible stuff. So, let me just start with you because I got a whole lot to say. What are your New Year's resolutions looking like?
My New Year's resolutions. Well, I like to break life into buckets. So, health, wealth, and fulfillment. So with health, I just want to hit 200 pounds and I want it all to be muscle. With my wealth, I want to scale my business and I want to be making like minimum $50,000 a month in revenue. Mm-hmm. And then for fulfillment, I just want to be I want to feel like I've been the most useful man that year. Like that's the thing that consistently feeds my soul, knowing that I've helped people achieve their goals, knowing that like I've helped my clients, knowing that I've helped my family, all the people that I've loved. Those are the things that really bring me fulfillment. So those are my 3 buckets.
Well, I don't know. That third one doesn't feel like a New Year's resolution, though. I feel like that's like a throughout your life kind of thing.
Right. I guess that's true. I think to a degree, like every year I want to do more. So like my resolution is like if I can become the best version of myself like next year, obviously this is a whole journey that you have to go on. But if I can become a better version of myself than I was last year, then I can help more people. So that one is just going to keep following me.
Yeah. So then I think you should replace that one. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's like a live, laugh, love one. That was just like this who I am. I'll just be useful.
No, that's real. That's real.
So for those of you who want to hear mine, I have been feeling like a fat fuck recently. I have been feeling disgusting. And for those of you who are like, Erica, no, like, you're not fat. Listen, man, my muffin top is muffining. The love handles rolling out my bra, disgusting, or rolling under, whichever way the love handles are. I'm rolling on the top and the bottom. I'm not having a good time.
I think that the end of the year is kind of set up in a way to set everybody up for failure. Okay, so you live in New York, right? The end of the year comes, it's all the holidays, right? Mm-hmm. November comes, December, like we're thinking Thanksgiving, Christmas is here, New Year's, you're spending all this time, you're eating a lot of food, you're slowing down, like everybody's starting to buy stuff because all the Black Friday sales, the Cyber Monday. So you're spending all of your money, you're spending time with more people because now it's time to come together with everyone, right? And now it's getting cold. If you live above, the equator, like up there, we're in New York, it gets cold here, right? Mm-hmm. So you're cold. You don't even really want to go outside. You're drinking, all these things, right? New Year's comes, passes over. You just ate mad food. You spent all this money. You have all these resolutions. I'm going to lose all this weight. I'm going to make more money, right? So you go to the gym. Who's at the gym? Everybody. Everybody's at the gym. Okay. Your uncle that never went to the gym a day in his life is there. Mm-hmm. Your cousin who said they would never go to the gym is there, right? So then you go to the gym, you try to go before work, after work, whatever it is, you figure it out, but everybody's there. So now it's packed. You don't even have no machines. They don't got no dumbbells, no nothing. You can't work out efficiently, right? Now, you're a month in, you try to go consistently. It's cold. Every time you go outside, you got to put on 5 extra pieces of clothing that you also have to wash. Now you got to go to the laundromat more often. Damn, that sucks, right? So
you're spiraling. Continue.
I'm just adding on. Because then in February, right, people already are not really following on their goals, right? Everybody's been trying to go to the gym consistently. You've been trying to get right. And it's hard to be consistent when it's cold outside and you don't want to go outside. And there's all these people that are making your life way harder to do all the things.
Well, how you explain it for the people who live in like Cali and Florida who are just fat? like at least I got an excuse, I guess. I'm fat in New York.
Well, that adds to it. I think the ending of the year, the fact that it's all this time that we have all these holidays, we're spending all this money and we're eating all this food and drinking, and it's all like appropriate. It like all like everybody's like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's go have fun. So I think that the ending of the year does not set you up for success in the next year. And that's what makes it so hard. And then you set your goals from that place of comfort. Like you're like, you know what? Everything is slowing down. I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and then you don't actually do it.
For me, if anything, the holidays are what motivate me to like get my shit together. Because for me, I spend a lot, like too much around the holidays, like disgusting. Like I just make excuses. I'm like, you know what? It's the holidays. Merry Christmas to me from me, you know? So I do that. And then for me, it's like, okay, I want to live like this all year round. So I base my goals based on where I'm at the end of the year. So it's like, if this is what the balance of my credit card looks like at this point in time, I want to be able to pay that off all throughout the year. If let's say I ran it up that high every month, like this is what self-love looks like in a credit card statement. I need that every month. And that's me full on romanticizing the fact that I am an irresponsible spender on the holidays. But for as long as I'm striving to be someone who can pay that off, you know, 24/7, year round, whatever, I think I'm pretty all right. So, however, back to what I was saying, none of this makes me feel better about being fat or feeling particularly fat around this time of year. Nothing fits right. Everything I put on makes me, I'm going to get very real. Hold on. I've been wearing a faja for the past day. For the past one day. I started. I've always had one and I was like, I'm not going to touch this thing. It's wrong. I'm not giving in. I gave all the way in because this thing got to go. I got a wide rib cage. I look like SpongeBob. I look like a fucking Goya can. Like it just doesn't feel right. So all that to say, for a more specific New Year's resolution, I have always wanted to be 150 pounds. I'm currently 140. I want to be a thick 150, a nice 150, a Fashion Nova 150, looking like I went to DR 150. I look like the fucking gross ghost from Ghostbusters. That is what I see when I look in the mirror. And though it's like, you know, self-hate, whatever, I don't care. That's what's getting my ass to the gym. So all that to say, my New Year's resolution is to look good at whatever number that is, but I want it to be higher than where I'm at right now.
You use whatever motivation you can, right? So if it's negative, then, you know, whatever.
You know, that's something I am so over all the just like, I don't know, I feel like people would look at what I just said and be like, oh, you gotta be more positive. You gotta find a better motivation. I am very Robespierre when it comes to if the ends justify the means, so be it. Like, I'm just like, if self-hate and tears and for me, bullying is what got me in the gym, getting bullied for being skinny. If that's what got me there, you know what? Thank the bullies. Thanks for being assholes. You made me thick, you know? Like that is my way of making sense of it all. But yeah, if you're feeling shitty about yourself and you want to make some New Year's resolutions out of it, for as long as it's not to be like disgustingly thin to the point like you need to go to the hospital, and I mean nobody wants to be obese, but
right.
I know I'm on a line right now.
I would hope so. You're a professional tightrope walker. Like I ain't never seen nobody walk the line like that
one. But yeah, for as long as your goals aren't like ones that are gonna hurt you, so be it. Go crazy. Just ride the hate.
But how do you actually take action and do the thing when you feel like crap, right? Because there's so many people that feel like shit. They'll talk shit about themselves, but then they won't do anything.
You know, I feel like my mental health is where it's at. Like I said, it's gotten there. It's my mental health is where it's at, and it's in a great place because of all the wrong ways I've gotten there. Because to me, if I feel shitty and I know that my eating habits and my, you know, every diet and work, why is this dog growling? Stop. And if I know that, you know, I'm the one that got me to the body I'm at right now, then for me, it's more like I don't want to say punish myself by taking me to the gym, but it's more like, Erica, get your fucking shit together. We're going to use our legs and walk to the gym. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like we're going to the gym for our goals. No, it's more like, let's go. Another day, another dollar, you know, very similar. Another day, another nickel. So, That's how I take on the gym when I'm depressed.
Have you always been that way?
Yep, all the time. How do I put this? It's gonna sound terrible. I've been used to like my whole life being told I'm like perfect because my parents pretty much like programmed me that way. Like, you are perfect. I tweezed my eyebrows the slightest bit once. I got punished for 2 weeks because my mom said, don't tamper with perfection. But girl, I'm 16. They get in a little, But like, so growing up like that, and it doesn't have to be the type of perfection that my parents call perfection. Now I live up to my own type version of perfection. And for me, that's a thick woman with some thighs and a nice waist and, without the chicken fat on the arms, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if that's what that looks like to me, then I'm gonna strive for it. And I forgot the question. I was getting somewhere.
I asked you, how do you like actually take the action? Because there's people that don't know how to do that. Like, you can feel like shit.
Okay, yes. So all I had to say was it was ingrained in my head from my parents to be a certain way, and I'm just my self-discipline just to get where I want to be is pretty freaking up there. Like, I don't do pity parties. I'm like I said, I'm the one that made myself a little sloppy mess for the time being. I'm gonna be fine. But it's also the fact that I'm like, I'm gonna be fine. Like, I know I'm gonna be fine, but I'm gonna beat myself the fuck up, like, in between. Like, but the ends justify the means. Like, so it's just like that's how I go about it.
Okay, how'd you get there though?
What you mean?
Like, how'd you let yourself get to the point where you were not gonna be happy with how you looked?
How I let myself get bigger? Yeah, is what you mean?
I'm not. Like, listen,
by eating.
This is the stuff you're saying. I'm not saying none of this.
Nah, it's a mix of Uber Eats and just hanging out a lot and just eating more food. 'Cause that's the thing. When I go out with my friends, like, they'd be like, let's get drinks. And everybody gets drinks and I get chicken fingers. Like, I love me some food. I love me a good snack, a nice fry, a pickle, like, So, yeah, that's that. It's just joy and happiness. I never want to ruin my relationship with food. That's why I've never gotten on a diet. Like, I'm just very much like, I want to look at a chocolate cake. I'm not a fan of chocolate cake, but I want to look at it and be like, if I wanted to, I'd eat half the cake. Like, it's just like,
I could.
Yeah. So that's where I am with that. And
well, would you say that you spent more time with friends recently towards the ending of the year?
I spend time with my friends all the time. I don't want to, because you're going to be like, it's the end of the year and the holidays.
Looks like the holidays.
No, but coincidentally, a lot of my friends all have birthdays between September and I want to say February. So I don't know if that plays a part, but that has nothing to do with capitalism unless screwing around March. Oh, well, March has no holidays. 9 + 3, 10. Yes, that's when the holidays start, October.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
No.
Are we picking up what I was putting down?
It's too heavy. Not picking it up. So, yeah, that's a nice little deep dive into resolution number 1 of 53.
Wait, you have more?
Of course I have more. I feel like I suck. Like, what's another one? Oh, you'll understand this one. I want to learn how to treat people better when I'm stressed, because I have a tendency to isolate and kind of be like, everybody please shut up because you're going to overstimulate me and I don't want help with anything. Even if I need a little bit of help, I'm not going to want it, because if you do help me, I'm going to get pissed. So I'm telling you right now, that's where I'm at right now. It's going to stay that way until I can fix it. But I don't anticipate it getting fixed anytime soon. That's why it's a New Year's resolution. It's going to take a year to fix that.
Well, how do you plan to work on something like that?
Keep getting stressed and figuring it out.
You can't even like measure that.
Okay.
Like the next time I get stressed, let me see if I can. Listen, I'm like a tracking guy, right? So I'm just imagining like a sheet where like the last time I got stressed, how many times did I let somebody help me?
like letting someone help me
That's-
already was a trigger. Like,
Right.
allow, like, don't help me. Like, also, if I fall in the middle of the street, don't you dare come to try to pick me up, because now you draw more attention to the fact that I fell. Let me get up and struggle on my own. So,
Right. Because you're an independent woman.
I am an independent woman.
Right.
With weak legs.
Weak legs.
Because I'm falling in the street,
Right, why
apparently,
are you
you know? This is all part of the scenario.
Get your stuff together.
But yeah, so when I'm stressed, I'm a disgrace. Or even people, a lot of people, like friends, family, they just be catching strays. Like if you piss me off in a small way, and it's not even piss me off, if you just like annoy me in the slightest, I'm going to blow up because I'm already overstimulated in my head, but obviously nobody else sees that. So there's that. But
Well, how do you keep track of all these things that you want to resolve? Like, do you actually write them on a list, or do you just keep them in your head?
Right now they're in my head. The working out one, I mean, I just keep track of how often I go to the gym, and just recently I added jump roping so I get some cardio in there, because I feel like I got like lumps of fat laying on my heart, because if I was getting robbed and somebody and I had to run, take me. You know, like I'm just not running. Like it's just like I'm here. I mean, but if I'm 150 pounds, it's harder to hold me. So, you know, yeah.
So that's the goal? Not to
Be
get
so
stoned.
heavy. I'm a woman.
Right. No, that's real. That's real. You are a woman.
Well, let me tell you guys a story about the time I was getting stalked.
This close to getting kidnapped. 6 feet.
Yes. Okay, wait. So, I leave the gym. I was at the gym. I was doing what I had to. I was at the gym. I leave and I'm like, ooh, gotta pick up some lasagna ingredients to make a lasagna for my friend the next day for her birthday, yada, 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 whatever. Very wholesome thing to do, you know, very nice. I do no wrong, right? La, 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 la. I leave. I'm holding heavy bags. The 2 bags that I'm holding all together has got to be, I want to say like 50 pounds. It's just a lot of meat, a lot of sauce. I'm lying, there was no sauce. A lot of cheese. It was blocks of cheese. And then I also felt the need to get like Pepsi and like a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't want to talk about. The stuff that made me bigger, you know, the stuff that's making me lumpy. So I'm walking with these 2 bags, but you know, it's heavy. So every few blocks, I'm taking a little break. I'm putting my bags on a bench and I'm just like, okay, you know, just breathing like a fat ass, just, you know? And then, what's it called? And then I walk, take a break, walk, take a break. On my 3rd break, something felt fishy. Something felt off. And I turn around and there was a man behind me and he just turns around. He just does a little 180 and stands there. He doesn't continue walking. So this is where I was getting pissed off because, listen, like, I'm going to just say it. If you're going to stalk someone, at least be good at it. Because someone who stalks regularly, I guess, or just someone with a goal or something, they would just make that U-turn or even cross the street or just something. And that's not what he did. He just stood there. So I stood there looking at the back of his head because I'm just like, okay, like hopefully he's going to start walking and this gets like less awkward. Or if he were to turn back and look at me, I'd be like, and hopefully the scold would be enough, but I'm a small woman. I don't know.
He just stood there.
He stood there and he just, with a hunch in his back, he was just looking like weird. So I go across the street, I go to the bar. I talk to the bouncer. I'm like, hey, like, I think this guy like stalking me. He's okay, it's cool, come inside, whatever. So I'm in there for a few minutes and the guy stands there. The guy's still standing in the spot that he was standing in, still turned away. And I'm like, all right, what's going on? And then he starts walking in the direction towards my home. And just to give you guys some context, the block I was walking down is a block that I have to walk down in order to get to where I live. Like, it's just, I have to. So even if I, did a whole bunch of U-turns and zigzags, I still had to make it back to that street. So I was at the beginning of, walking on that street. So I was, okay, if I just do a few more zigzags, walk on like the city blocks and then make my way towards the last block that I'd have to be on that street and hopefully we don't cross paths, then that's what it'll be. So then I'm walking around and I just sit on a bench and just get pissed off at the whole idea that, like, because I don't do pity parties. I'm not like, oh my God, it's so sad to be a woman. Poor us. It's more just like, I didn't even, like, I was just getting groceries. Like, not to say that, like, I should have been someone who deserved it, but some people deserve it more than others, more than I did that night, you know? And I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, I just want to make a lasagna for my friend, and now I gotta make all these detours and get home at half hour later than I anticipated. And I'm just annoyed. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh. This is pissed. Like, you're ruining my whole flow. You're ruining my routine. Screw the part about getting stolen. I'm fine. I'm making my way home. But it's just like, you're a stranger, and you had that much power to kill the whole vibe of my freaking day. I was so irked. And on top of that, my phone was on 1%. 1%. All that to say, if he started running, I would have been gone. That was the point. You wouldn't see me again. And that's when I was like, all right, we got to start jumping rope just in case.
Damn. So
Yeah.
the title of this is how getting kidnapped or almost getting kidnapped got me to start jump roping.
Yeah, 'cause I used to jump rope before, and I was like, yo, this is hard. But it's not that hard when you think about death.
Jumping is every step. Every step is faster.
And to
away
think
from
I could
this
only
man.
do a minute straight. That's only like what, like 5 blocks? Like, that's so bad. And I gotta hope this man, who I assume routinely stalks and chases and captures, isn't, you know, ready to do a minute of running. Like, yes, he is. Like, he's so ready. Like,
Right, he's already stalking.
yeah, but lucky for me, I got a bad stalker.
Mm-hmm.
How did we get here from the stress?
I asked you. You got really happy about that, wanting to tell that story. Yeah. I had asked you, like, how do you keep a list of all these things, like all the things that you want to do?
I still don't know how we got here. Oh, yes, it's really in my head because of experiences like that. That's what I was trying to get at. And then, like, the stress thing, though, like, obviously I can't write that down. Like, I could do my woo-ha-ha manifestation, like, get a better mind and clear your mind. But, like, that's nothing. Because for me, when you like, I'm not knocking meditation or, like, all the stress. Like, that, it works. However, when you isolate yourself so much, and it's because you're manifesting, and it's because, you know, you're sitting by the moon and talking to the water, which I do. I'm not knocking those people. I do that. When you isolate yourself that much, nothing stresses you because you're around all the things that make you happy. The moon and crystals and rocks and grass, you know, like, you're like, whoa, life is good. But then you forget people exist, and there's a whole world out there, and that you have friends that piss you off sometimes. You got family members that irk your soul and whatever. And as soon as you cross paths with them, you're like, you're the reason that I hate life. And you're just not used to being around them. Because I feel like, at least for me, when everything's like really good, and that one thing, it's just one little thing, like, everything was good up until this moment. I hate everything. So I think a lot of it is just putting myself more out there and just talking to, you know, people I care about more. Just it's not even learning how to tolerate them. It's just learning how to stop being an asshole. Like, that's really what it is. Like, I don't know. I feel like people need to be a lot more okay with the fact, like, yeah, sometimes I'm kind of a dick, you know? And I've told you that. We had a conversation one time, and you were like, I'm not the biggest fan of XYZ. And I was like, you know what I think the answer is? I think I'm acting like a bitch. You were like, no. And I was like, no, this is what I took away. You don't have to use those words, because he didn't use those words, by the way. Let me just let you, he didn't use them. I did, because I knew. And I think that it's okay to be like, what I take from what you just said is that if I did less of that, we wouldn't have these issues. So I feel like for me with my stress, it's me being like, all right, Erica, like, you know, there are better ways to handle that. You talk about it and everything. And it's just like, you got to figure that shit out, because you're being a nuisance to the people around you. So, or maybe the resolution is be less of a nuisance. Mm-hmm. You know, I learned the word nuisance in first grade. It was one of those words that I said, that's like a fancy word for annoying. And I was like, I'm a nuisance. Like, I embrace nuisance, because it sounded cool. Like, what do you do for your living? Like, I'm a nuisance. Mm-hmm. I'm a professional nuisance. Like,
that's crazy to aspire to be something like that.
I don't aspire to be. I am it. And now my resolution is to be less of it.
You've already peaked. You've hit.
I did not hit peak nuisance.
Okay.
I just hit too high. I'm a nuisance to myself, and that's why it's a problem. Because then I get into reflecting, and like I said, and then because I can't face myself. That's one thing I know for sure. Like I work on myself and all that, but like the worst part of any like self help and work and all that is when you're like, I suck. So,
What do you mean you can't face yourself? Like, is it hard to reflect on who you are or who you're being?
Yeah, when you suck, yeah. Like when I'm a good person, I do good deeds. I'm like, yo, like you're the fucking bomb. Like I love that girl in the mirror. And then when you're less than great, you're like, how could you? Like all the other versions of us are looking at you and just on you, like
Right in your eye.
yeah, like like that's how it feels. You ever feel like you suck?
Yes, all the time. I feel like what I'll do is I'll go into the mirror and I'll literally have like a conversation with myself.
The opposite.
But I'll go into the mirror and I have a conversation with myself and tell myself, like, I'm looking at you, dude, you fucking suck. Like you need to shape up. I'll either do it in the mirror or the bathroom, like while I'm taking a shower. Right? And I'll just talk out loud because it helps me. Because if I just keep in my head, like you can think of like 7 things at the same time.
Yeah.
It's too chaotic. So I say everything out loud. And it helps me like bring out all the nasty stuff. It's like I'm vomiting all the negativity and I just put it out into the world. And then once it's out, I like feel way better. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to like take over the entire world. Like
really?
Yeah. So that's how I do it. And I think I just want to touch back to what you said earlier because I feel like it's really important. When you were saying like all the people with the woo-woo and whatever, like meditation, all those things, they do work. But a lot of people just do that only. And then they forget that they have to interface with the world. They don't have to. They could go to the mountains, live in a cabin, and like, pick their own food, grow their own food. Do all
grow the
these things,
goats.
right? But if we want to live in a society with a bunch of other people, then we have to learn how to exist around them.
Yeah.
We can't change them. We can only change ourselves. So why would you try to learn how to be better about yourself outside of the environment that you're always going to live in? That doesn't make any sense. So I think you could do both. I think you can do a combination of getting your own free time on the side, go to the mountains, whatever. But when you come back, you have to learn how to integrate it into your day-to-day life. Because if you don't, then you actually will not change. And the same thing will happen. And then what do you think? I suck.
It's terrible.
Happiness really is a choice. At least that's what I believe, right?
And you notice more when you're looking for it. If you're looking for happiness, like you're halfway there.
Right. And if you're happy, if you're already in that energy, then you're just going to keep looking for it. But if you're always negative or mad at the world, then you're just going to keep finding those things because they'll keep finding you. Let
me just tell people something. I'm in a much better mood now than when he first said those words to me. Because bringing it back to being a real person in the world of like manifestation and with that being like a thing that's like popular on the internet, like when, like I said, like when you're in that mood and that vibe, you're like, oh my God, everything's fine, everything's perfect, or whatever. And when shit hits the fan, that is the last thing you want to hear. The last thing you want to hear, happiness is a choice. Oh, you're sad? Just choose happiness and you'll be happy. I can hear that now because I'm better now than I was when I initially heard it. But I think I'm just saying, I think that's something to be as aware, conscious, just notice it.
For the person saying it or the person receiving it?
The person receiving. Because even when you told me, I knew that was something that I would say if somebody else was going through the same thing. I knew that. But I was like, that is the last thing I want to hear right now. Like, no, that is, my brain's not there.
Yeah. I'm learning slowly.
But that's one thing I feel like I'm good at. Like, I feel like I'm good at saying, like, I'm not there right now.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really important. Because that's worked for me a lot. Because I feel like people who aren't even like, even if they don't get it, people, when you say that, they're just like, I'm going to just shut up. And like, that's exactly what you need. Like people who just, I can say it to my little siblings, I'm not here right now. They go, all right. And they just, just trail off somewhere else. So I think learning how to tell people like, I'm not in that space, even if it's for literally anything. Because there have been times that my friends are trying to talk to me about something that I would care about at any other time, but I'm really stressed. Like I'm just either going through something or my mind is elsewhere, like literally elsewhere, like the way I would say it. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm getting like mental claustrophobia. You should be like, I'm not there. And that works for me.
I think that's actually a really good way to go about it. Because, like, here are your other options, right? You could either say, yeah, you're right, and then just keep going and not actually receive anything that they just said. Or the other side is you just go crazy on them and you backlash onto them. So I think that you saying, like, you're acknowledging, yo, I'm really not there right now. And you telling them that, I think it just closes the book. It's like, listen, just stop.
Yeah.
And I respect that you love me enough to try and give me some help or whatever it is, but I'm just not there right now. Tell me that like another day.
Because the thing is, I probably need to hear it, but I'm not going to hear it now. And then you're going to feel like you wasted your breath if you got to tell me again.
Right.
I feel like that's another part of it too. Because the person's never going to use it. Because like me, if I don't want to hear something, I close my ears. Like it's just, nope, just a little mental noise cancellation. I don't hear a damn thing. I'm here singing in my head.
But that sets you up for success because the person that wanted to help you, right? If you're the type of person
ignoring somebody who's trying to help me set me up for success.
Like, telling them like, yo, I'm not ready.
Yes.
Because if you ignore them, one, they are less likely to ever help you ever again, right? And then on the other side, if you're the type of person that says, oh, you're right, but then they see later on you never actually change, then they know that everything that they suggest to you or tell you, you aren't going to change anyway. So they feel like they're wasting their breath.
No.
But with the way that you do it, you close the book and say, listen, right now I'm not ready.
Yeah.
But later I might be. Yeah. And I think that it lends yourself to be still helped in the future by other people, and you'll still always get a helping hand. So,
well,
yo, you figured something out for real. Damn, you're actually kind of smart. If that was in your New Year's resolution, check. You did it before the year.
Shut up. But yeah, that was just that's two of. What else I got in here? My noggin.
Yo, back to your noggin. We were talking about, do you keep a list of the things? We never closed on that. So like,
no, I just hold up my head.
Do you keep all 52 things in your head? All 52 resolutions in your head?
I privily. Whoa, there's no space for things in my head, clearly. But I think like so much bothers me on a regular basis that my mind isn't clear until they're all fixed.
But how do you know what to work on?
Everything that bothers me.
But
my weight bothers me. Clutter in the house bothers me. Cool. Clean it, like it's just
bothers me. Cleaned.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Like my dog needs a haircut. Shave him. Like like
right.
It bothers me looking at him sometimes.
So you're an action taker.
Yeah, I know. I'm very like do it. Like there's so many things. I'm like, it would really be nice if I had this in my apartment. Bought at the car, check out. I'm just like, that's $300, but I need it. Do I need it? In my head, yes. And so I just buy it. Like I don't do like this whole like, oh, I'll wait till then. Like, what if I die tomorrow? Like I'm just like, would it really be that bad if I bought the camera today?
Guys, this is not financial advice. Like, trust me, this is not financial advice.
I should get a financial advisor on here and be like, can you analyze this whole episode? And they're like, you're fucking manic.
You have a problem.
Thank you. I'm a nuisance.
Like, have you heard of gambling? You don't have that problem. You just buy everything that you want.
If anything, that's better than gambling. Gambling, you're wasting money on nothing.
On maybe getting something.
I'm spending money on happiness. Yep. And you can't buy happiness, but you could buy like really nice clothes.
I don't know.
It gets you real clothes.
You can't buy happiness, but you can buy the things that bring you happiness, like nice clothes and like experiences.
This podcast is my happiness. It costs money. So,
right. Whose money? Your money.
Yes.
But that's the thing that's different about you, right? Like other people would go and spend all their money, but you know how to make it back. Or at least you'll do everything you can to make it back. And other people would just spend and just like hope that something happens.
Yeah. Now, I'd like to think that everything I spend money on has like a good old return. Like I order Uber Eats, I'm happy, but then I get fat. So it cancels out though. So it kind of is like, it's like I didn't spend anything.
Net zero.
Yeah. But it's like bought a Christmas tree. What's that gonna do for me? It's gonna make me like a little sad that I spent the money. But when I decorate the tree, I'm like, oh my God, the lights.
That's
Cancels
my
out.
tree.
Yeah. I bought paint for a mural on my wall. I think that one's pretty fair because once I see the mural and I gotta look at it every day, I'm like, oh my God, I did that. And that's just happiness all the time. Yeah. I'm responsible. Like, I don't think I'm irresponsible with money.
Who said that?
Me.
And then you're like, never mind. I'm responsible.
Yeah. No, because like one of my resolutions, like I want to say even like 2 weeks ago was like, spend less money. And I said, no, work harder, make more money. And I know that that's like capitalism at its finest. Like, it's just like New York hustle, just poster child for that.
Back to what I was saying about like just having your goals written out in your mind, and then how do you get them? How do you actually work?
Keep trying to go back.
How
to
do you
that.
actually work on the goals? Right. The reason I'm trying to get to is because I think that a lot of people set goals and then they don't know how to actually achieve them, right? But you, like a lot of the things that bother you, they bother you consistently enough for you to just keep them top of mind, so you don't even have to write it down, right? Because a lot of them are like physical or like visual. You can see the things. Well,
because I think for me, New Year's resolutions aren't things that can get done in a week or a month or whatever. Those are things you put on your to-do list, and those are things I do write down, like things like just silly things, not even silly things, but like painting my wall, editing a podcast, recording, stuff like that, like stuff that you just have to know because it gets done in a certain period of time. But I feel like your New Year's resolutions, it's more like you're working on that all year. So it's like, if it's June and you're not halfway through completing whatever that goal is that you got to complete, then you're fucking up. Like, if I don't feel better about my body by June, I'm like, what was I doing the whole first half of the year? Like, I feel like, and also like my goals are very in my face. Like I see my body every day and I'm looking in a mirror every day. So it's like, that one's kind of always there. My attitude is always in my head. So that's kind of always there. I'm trying to think about other, like, because a lot of my stuff is just like the way that I keep my space. Like I want to upgrade a lot of things in the apartment that would just make my life easier and just make it easier to look at. Because like for me, it's just like visual clutter it will drive me insane. I can't work in a messy room. I can't. If I go to somebody else's house, I don't care how messy it is, whatever. I'm fine. It's not my house. It's the fact that it's mine. Like, I can't live with my space being something that I'm not okay with looking at or anything. So yeah, like that's another like resolution of mine. It's just like I'm reminded of it every day. I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, there goes that, that sponge thing that I want to get a sponge holder for when I'm washing the dishes. And I'm just like, I hate putting it down on the side of the thing. And I'm like, oh, I hate my life. And, get the fucking sponge holder. Like,
all right, let's just get it.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes me happier and it just upgrades. Like, it's just, my brain works so weird. I've learned that. The more that I talk to people, the more people are like, that bothers you? And I'm like, it doesn't bother you? So like, for me, it's little stuff like that or just clutter. I really can't stand clutter. I don't like things on my floor. I just don't like seeing things that don't fit together. I don't like, if I grow out of something in my apartment, if it could be something I've used for a long time, like even like this painting I've had on my wall for, I want to say a year now. Everybody thinks you paint something, that thing's permanent. It's not a tattoo. Like I'm repainting it now. People are like, oh my, why are you taking that down? It took you so long. I'm like, okay. Like, what do you mean?
It's about to take me long to do this next one.
Yeah, I don't know. Like so what? Just if you don't like it, change it. I'm like that with everything. I'm like that with my apartment. I'm like that with like friends. If you're just like, these people don't serve me in any way and I'm kind of miserable or they're really mean to me and I don't like that, change your friends. Like, it's just, I go through like this realization, like I want to say once every 2 months where I'm like, I'm an adult. I could buy a plane ticket tonight, disappear to Japan. Who's stopping me?
No one.
Who's stopping me? Only person stopping me is probably my dog because I don't know, if he could go abroad. But outside of that, nothing's stopping me. Like, it could be 3 a.m. I could go out for a walk. Dangerous and wrong. Shouldn't do that. But I could if I wanted to. Right. Or like, you could just wake up and be like, I don't work in my job anymore. And although like, yeah, there's like society stuff. Like you got to pay bills and money is a thing and all that. But it's like, you could really do whatever you want. Like I can eat ramen noodles at 3 p.m. And that's not even wild. But the fact that I could do it just has me like everything's invigorating to me. Once I go through, it's like a week where I'm like, oh my God, I could do anything. And I do the most mundane things. But it's things that to me at like 13 years old would have been like, yo, imagine when you get to do that. And it's just cool. I just go through that all the time. And I think that's like it's a fun way to look at life. And that's when you realize like nothing's a big deal. Like everything is a lot smaller than you think it is. Because I hate when people are like, we're just a speck in this gap. It's like, all right, simmer down. Like that's a really big scale and way to look at things. But you just look at it more like I'm in control of my own life and my own destiny. And I can meet somebody at the park today if I just go to the park. Like I can't have a fun, funky story about anything if I just don't put myself in situations. It's like people who stay themselves home like all day, every day. And they're like, the love of my life will come one day. Through your window? Like through a fucking drone?
See you with a binocular?
Yeah, like I'm just like, I don't think you want that person. So it's just more about just like taking control of your life. I think that's a big thing to just get you going and get you where you want to be. Don't know how we got there. Every time you start off with like, do you write down these resolutions? I'm like, anyways.
Well, I mean, you brought up a lot of things. You mentioned that, like, for you, your answer to it was basically if you get 6 months down the line and you notice that the things that you said you wanted to change haven't changed, then you know that you're fucking up. But I think that a lot of people, they come up with their New Year's resolutions and then they span it out for the whole year. They're like, by the end of this year, I'll do this. But
they get to it in October.
Right. Why not just do it sooner? Or like set the goal to happen sooner. And what are the things that you have to do to actually get there?
Yeah.
Right? Because the whole New Year's resolution is like there's this idea of annualization versus periodization. And if you just bring things down into a smaller piece where you can actually achieve said goal in 3 months or 2 months or 1 month, what are the things you have to do to make it happen? Right? Because when you say, oh, I want to lose weight, that's like super arbitrary. Like what does that even mean? How much weight do you want to lose? What do you want to look like? But people just say, I want to lose weight, I'm gonna go to the gym, which is great. You're taking action. Fantastic. But if you don't know what you're doing and you have no fire behind you, no like discipline, there's nobody like pushing you, it's just you, then bro, you're gonna fail like in a month. Like there's no way.
Unless you're someone who like, pushes themselves. Because you make it sound like you like need a trainer or something.
No, you are your trainer. But if you're not like that and you just set goals and you just say like, oh, I want to do this, but there's no like plan in your mind of how to do it, how to get there, it's not gonna happen.
That's true.
Right? Because for you, right, you could say, I want to get to this, I want to lose weight, right? That's what you said. I feel like I'm lumpy. I want to remove my lumps. Okay.
I love that that's the adjective that stuck. But
because I don't want to say the other one.
Big?
Yeah.
I prefer big than lumpy. You see my lumps before my bigness?
I'm big. I want to get small. I want to get a little bit smaller, but still be big in like other places.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to be proportionately small, big.
Right. But what did you say you were going to do? You're going to start doing jump rope every day, like on all your workouts.
Yeah.
Right. And you know how many times you need to go to the gym. You want to go at least 4 times every single week. That makes it unreasonable for you not to hit your goal. And then 6 months down the line, you get to see all your progress from you doing it consistently. And then boom, now you're way closer to your goal. You're happier about yourself. And then boom, I achieved my New Year's resolution in literally 6 months or less.
I'm going to achieve it in a year. Because I'm not saying that to like, go against what you just said. But I feel like there's another thing about just like how people's brains work. And for me, like, I know that if I tell myself it's going to get done in 6 months, I'm crashing out if it's not. So for me, a year is enough time for me to be like, I have enough time for things to mess up. And I think we talked about this before when like I talked about like how I think about the gym, where it's like, yeah, I have to go 4 times a week, but yet life gets in the way and stuff. So it's more like, well, if I make it 20 to 25 times every month, I'm okay. And I'm just like, even if that means like some weeks are more intense than others, at least big picture wise, I feel like that's a better gauge for me because that feels better. So for me, it's like, if I'm like lose this much fat every month and I don't hit that number, like I kind of like in my head, at least I'm like bugging out. Like I'm just like, oh my God, I'm a failure. I suck. Not thinking about I had more gigs that week or, I drank more shakes that month or whatever. Like I'm just not thinking about that. I'm just thinking like I'm inconsistent and that makes me want to give up more. If I take it like month by month, that's what so for me, it's like, I'm okay with like, a halfway mark, like at 6 months being like, generally I should be, I go even me like, cause I'm very real with myself too, but I go by how I'm feeling. Like if I feel like I look good halfway through, the number I'm at is higher than where I was before. And like by number, I mean like the pounds, cause I want to gain more weight while still keeping a shape. If everything looks the way it's supposed to look, and maybe I did slack a month here or there, I'm not thinking about any month that I slack, because I'm like, well, generally, like I made a lot of progress from day one, but I can't take it week by week or month by month, because it's not gonna feel, it's easier for me to give up.
Because you feel like all this work that you're putting in, you're not getting the progress at the speed that you want it to happen?
No, it's just me being like, it's me telling myself, like, if you couldn't even be consistent in a month, what makes you think you could do it in a year? So for me, it's more like, okay, you got this much done in half a year, then I'm expecting this or more by the end of the year.
Okay.
Because I'm gauging by what I'm capable of and what I've shown works for my lifestyle. Because it's like, if I had all the time in the world and I could really say, like, go to the gym 5 times a week, make sure you jump rope, like, and I have the time, it's just like, I'm very real in the sense of like, life gets in the way, and I want to have a social life, and I want to have, just like things going on that aren't, like, I'm someone who for a while was like, every single thing that I do has to be productive. Until I realized, like, no, I could like brain rot for a little bit and watch a stupid show on TV, and the world's gonna keep spinning and I'm still gonna be successful. Everything's fine. So for me, I need to see a big picture, because I'm very disciplined. And when I see what I'm capable of at like my most intense state, whether that be like for work or for the gym or whatever, I'm like, I must keep that up. And I'm one of those like dramatic, like in those movies where like they're like, oh my God, I must be at this. And I get like that, and it's bad. And I don't like being like that. So because I know that, that's how I have to track my goals. But other people are different. So that's just me.
Right. I mean, I think, again, you have to find what works for you. And I think if that works for you, then you keep rocking with it, because you're seeing progress and you see success in the way that you do things.
Yeah.
But for me, right, I feel like if I set a goal, I try not to even really think too much about the goal. I just think about the things that I have to do to get to it. Because if I measure by the goal, then the same thing happens to me, where if I don't hit it by the time I said I was going to hit it, now I'm like, oh, you actually suck. Like you aren't built different. Like you're just like everybody else, right? And you have all these negative thoughts. But then I think about the actions or the actual things that you have to do to get to said goal. And if by the end of the 6 months, like I set the goal, but I'm not really thinking about it, I don't hit it, I'm like, okay, I was doing this many things during that time to get there. That means I just have to do more, or I have to do something different.
Yeah.
So then it's easier for me, because then I get to track and I get to see, like, it's really like I'm playing a game, and I'm like, okay, which way did I play the game that got me the most success? And then actually can make the progress that I'm looking to make.
Something that you touched on that I think is pretty important when it comes to goal setting is, like you said, that you need to know you need to do what it takes in order to reach your goals. Because I feel like all the goals that people make are like they're so big, and they're so just like we've been saying, like, want to lose weight. And it's just like, okay, but how are you going to do that? Because I feel like when you're able to look at your goals from the outside with like a very clear state of mind, in a space where you're just like, the only thing you're thinking of is just the fact that these goals need to be met, but you're not in the midst of getting them done. You're not stressed. You're like, oh my God, and rushing and stuff. I think it's really important to look at the steps needed in order to hit the goals. Because even for me, sometimes, like, if you're lucky, you end up with a goal that takes 12 steps, and everything becomes a lot easier if you could do a step per month. Because it's just like I said, like, life happens. And I feel like people love to ignore that. They love to think that I'm going to run a marathon this year. I'm going to run every day. Okay, what about that week you get sick? And you're like, oh, damn, like, you get back running. You're like, I'm not doing as many minutes as I was before. My endurance is off. Like, that's okay, because life happens. Or like that one vacation you took for your friend's birthday, or like whatever. Like, that's okay. And I think people need to give themselves grace, like, to have fun, because yeah, you could be setting goals and stuff, but it's all for nothing if you're not live, laugh, loving. And that's not even to be ironic. I used that phrase ironically until I was like, no, life is live, laugh, love. So I think if you set your goals with the space to just be and live and just like be happy, like give yourself the time to be happy, because what are these goals doing for you if you're not allowed to just exist in the meantime?
Right. But my thing is, like, there's some goals that you're going to set that you actually have no idea how to get there.
Like what?
Like for me, right? I'm I want to hit 200 pounds and I want to have an athletic build. I want to have big, broad shoulders, all these things, right? But like, I have no idea how I'm going to look because I've never hit that goal before. It's like one of those things that you can't tell what it is exactly you have to do to get to the exact thing that you wanted to achieve. But I do know that there are certain actions that will get me there eventually. Like I can't tell you by December 31st, I'm going to be 200 pounds and draw myself and have like an exact replica. It's not likely. But I know that there's a set of actions that I have to do, like going to the gym and doing certain workouts, programming, periodization, like, and upping the weight and all these different things when it comes to hitting the gym, right? So I think that's what people have to think about. Like, you might not know exactly what you have to do to hit a goal, but do the things that make sense, that will get you closer to the goal. And then you can reevaluate, okay, I did all of this and it got me this far. Let's see what I need to do next in order to get further.
I think knowing that you've reached like true like self-discipline is when the steps to reaching your goals become habits. Because then at that point, you just keep getting better or whatever it is. Because I can say the same about myself. I don't know what me at 150 pounds looks like. I started working out at 85 pounds and I've just, kept gaining weight. And I just keep looking at like, at one time, hitting 120 was a goal. And I was like, I still feel thin. But it's also because like body dysmorphia kicks in and all that good stuff. But because body dysmorphia is a thing and I realized that being 130 was a goal and I was still seeing that like, okay, well, I still don't feel like I've got the body that I want. That's why to me, 150, that's a big number. Like, there are women who are 150 and they feel obese, but it's because it's not like muscle. Like, I really want to hit like a solid, muscly 150. Do I think that I can hit that by the end of this year? No. But I think that I can hit the number and then start working with moving around the parts and all that from fat to muscle and all that. But in the meantime, I'm only going to be working on gaining muscle. Like, I'm not... Because some people, they just try to eat it all and then turn it to muscle. It's like, it doesn't work like that. You need to bulk and cut, bulk and cut, bulk and cut. So I know that that's what I have to do. I don't know how long it's going to get me there, but I know that that's what the end goal is. And if I can get there by the end, if I can get there by the end of the year, so be it. I'm chilling. This is a great time. Woo! But I'll be happy with hitting a solid, muscly 145 by the end of the year. But 150 is ideal. And I think that always knowing what your ideal situation looks like, what your ideal world looks like in the back of your mind and being okay with not being there, but knowing that you're always working towards that is another good thing. Just like in life altogether, like if I say I'm going to wake up at a certain time and I'm like, in a perfect world, I'm up at this time and I'm not, it's not the end of the world. Like I said, and this is something that it's trending on social media. Like somebody posted it once and like it just spread like wildfire. The whole thing of just like the time's gonna pass anyways. Like when people are like, oh, I don't want to start school again because then I'll graduate by a certain time. It's gonna be too late. Okay, but time's gonna pass. And you'll still have not graduated and you're still gonna be complaining about how you could have gone back to school and you didn't. It's like, it's stuff like that where I'm just like, that just makes so much sense to me. Like, what are you gonna do with your time? It's either you're gonna complain about, doing something or you're just gonna do it. And regardless, we both know you're gonna be happy if you just did the damn thing. And I think that's when people just got like I can't do the pity parties. I can't. It's just do it. For as long as you have the resources, because don't get me wrong, if you don't have the resources, I'm not an asshole. But if all you lack is the will, I don't care about your problems. You don't have any problems. You piss me off, actually. But yeah.
All right. So you're only really allowed to have problems if you have the will to solve said problems. Like you can't just be a complainer.
Yeah, I don't do complaints. Like me, I can't lie. I bitch and moan about everything while doing it though. And I think that's when it's okay. Like, if I'm doing overtime and I'm working, I'm doing gigs and I'm like, oh my God, everything hurts. My brain hurts. My body hurts. I'm tired. My eyes hurt, but I'm still doing it. Then let me complain because I'm complaining. I know honestly, when I complain in those situations, that's just my therapy because I need to get it out. You know how you have to get it out to yourself when you're in the shower, in the mirror? For me, it's more I need to complain about other things outside of me to me for me to be like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And it's all just the characters in my head.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds
the conversation
crazy.
with this. Hey,
yeah.
It's okay to be a little schizo sometimes.
Yeah. I'm all the schizo.
Right? Because if it gets you closer to your goals, then
we
make me
together.
A schizo today. Let's
teamwork.
Let's 5 heads are better than 1. Like, hello? Do we want to grow or not?
That's so bad. I'm not cutting that.
There's this line that I really love, and I've been coming to rehearse it so I can live my life by this rule. But it's love needs action, trust needs proof, and sorry needs change. So looking at life through that filter, you then can apply it to yourself, right? If you love yourself for real, then take the actions that you need to take to get to where you got to be, right? And if you need to trust yourself, you're building the proof that you can do what you say you will do by doing the thing, right? Like taking action. And then when you don't hit said goal or you're feeling shitty about yourself, you can say sorry to yourself, but change, which then feeds right back into loving yourself with action.
I feel like you understand that when you have self-respect and you know who you are and you love yourself and all that good stuff that people love preaching online. But like when you truly know all that stuff, like you're fine because you know that you're treating yourself with all the love and care that you need because who knows you better than yourself? And if you don't, that's the problem. Like,
right. And I think that's the problem for real because when you don't focus on like you, because you spend your entire day with you every single day, every night, you're you, right? Unless you're a schizo. But
then you're with us. You're with we. Like,
you're with we. Petey knows what we talking about. But if you're looking for like the validation externally from other people or how other people are viewing you or how they interact with you, but you don't know how you want to be treated with yourself, like you don't treat yourself the same way, then how could you expect to find that from other people? Or how could you expect to like see it? Because other people might be treating you a certain way, but you don't see it because you've never treated yourself that way. So then you don't appreciate it.
Yeah, that's very true. Because even here I fucking go, bro. My parents come up in every single episode, But it's the thing that I say all the time. Like if you're like you said, like if you're not shown it, you don't know it. And I think that a lot of that starts at home. If you don't have an example of it, you're never gonna know what it is, and you're always gonna look for the best thing you know. If the best thing you know is trash, then that's where you're gonna be looking for. So on January 1st, after like the ball dropped, fireworks, all that good stuff, everything happens. Is there anything that you do like between January 1st and I want to say like at least for the first month, because people usually fall off after this, that kind of like brings in the new year, like even if that's like a new routine, just something that like is your own personal new year, new me at the beginning of each year?
So I removed the idea of the new year like a few years ago because I just kind of wanted to look at it as just another day, and I didn't want it to be this whole thing where I had to wait for the new year to start something new. And I view it the same way that I kind of view my birthday. It's just like another day for me to just keep doing what it is that I'm doing. So there's no like specialty around it. But I do think that you can take advantage of the fact that it's New Year. So there's so many other people thinking in the idea of this is New Year, new me. So just steal some of that energy and use it for yourself. So for me, what that becomes is just focus. And I just want to focus on the things that I want to do. Like towards the end of the year, I get a little bit more distracted because all the holidays are coming in. So my days aren't as structured as I need them to be in order to get closer to my goals. So that is all I do in January. Just like dial in. I'm writing more. I'm consuming less content. I'm also just planning more and making sure that I hit all my deadlines and being really like hard and strict on myself. That's what every single new year kind of looks like for me.
Oh, see, I do all the silly stuff. I'm gonna wake up 2 hours earlier. I am gonna sleep earlier. I go to the gym for no reason, like 6 times a week. I am making sure I write to all my friends. Like I'm big on starting off the new year strong. So I need the fakeness of we had a holiday, it's a new year, yada yada yada. Even though for me, honestly, I feel more like I have like new beginnings and all that stuff like during the Lunar New Year. And that could be me and my witchy nonsense and stuff. But it's like for me, it all makes sense because it's right around my birthday. It's always somewhere in February. And life just feels more at ease and peaceful and just like a beginning, like a birth of some sort around that time. But it can also just be because all the stress is gone from what I put myself through from New Year's. So I don't know, but it works for me, and I'm just gonna because it works for me, and I just want to think it is whatever I think it is. It's never done me wrong. I've been pretty all right. So I'm just gonna stick to it. But yeah, my whole beginning of the year, I mean, another thing that makes me feel like it's beginning of the year because all my annual subscriptions come in around that time, and I'm just like, this is how you start at rock bottom, baby. This is how you rack up that balance, and you started from the beginning. And yeah, that's the new year for me. It's a whole lot of stress and like gotta get it together. It's like all the SpongeBob's in my brain just fucking going.
Yeah.
And it's done me well. It's like a lot of like fake beginnings because like I said, I don't wake up early. It just goes downhill from there. Like I'll wake up super early. I'll wake up at like 6 a.m. It'll be like that one day in January that I go to the gym at 6 a.m. and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And then I realize no, because I still want to sleep around midnight and I am not waking up at 6 a.m. if I'm going to sleep midnight. So that's that. I'm ready for the chaos. So with that said, I think we're wrapping up. So do you have any last words for viewers, watchers, peoples?
Yeah, my last words would be, I think you should take time to reflect on who you have been for the past year or the past 5 years. You should see what you like about what you've been doing, what you don't like, and then you should make a plan to get to be the person that you want to be. Something I'm going to be doing is writing a manifesto. So writing who it is that I want to be in the next 5 years, and I'm going to read that every single morning to remind myself, you want to be this person. And so I start the day by knowing I have to act a certain way in accordance with the person that I said I wanted to be. And you need the reminders. You know what you have to do, but oftentimes you need the reminder, and making that a practice and that part of your routine, I think is really important.
I'm a little angry and I'm gonna tell you why. You just said that you don't like do anything that like.
This is the first time, like I haven't ever actually done this. So this is like my first time.
Okay. But you made it seem like, oh, I don't really do nothing different when the year starts. And now you got a manifesto.
That's the focus thing, yeah. But I was going to bring it up because I was going to say, like, I was going to flow into it, the whole thing. But then we need to wrap up, so I didn't want I was just going to cut it.
So there, write a manifesto. And what we got from me? I'm not wise. Start anew. Stop being an asshole to the people you love. That's it. Just make yourself happier, spend some money. Who cares? It's all fake. With that being said, thank you for watching and listening wherever you stream, watch, listen to podcasts. Leave me a like, comment, or subscribe. All that good stuff. Help me out. And Happy New Year. I'm slow.
It's on your head, so it's okay.
Happy New Year. I hope you have fun celebrating, or if you're watching before the new year, before the year ends, hope you have fun prepping, all that good stuff, getting ready, and be safe. Don't drive, take an Uber. If you needed a sign, here's one. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Bye.